All right, twin flames. I'm gonna get right into it. I asked Source for messages about how the divine masculine feels about the divine feminine this month of September. So I meditated, sat on the cards for a while, shuffled. And I didn't literally sit on the cards. I don't know why I said that, but I shuffled and I came up with this reading that it is intensely good, people. I don't understand why the cards are coming out so good, unless something really good is coming our way. I guess time will tell. I guess we will weigh in at the end of the month, or in at least in a few weeks' time, to see what happened. But this is amazingly good. I don't know why, or how it's coming out this good. But okay, let's just get into it, all right? So, how the divine masculine feels about the feminine. At the start of the month, he feels like he has to work really hard with regard to this relationship, and he is working hard, okay? Whether that's working on his, emotional well-being, or figuring out practical steps. The Pentacles implies practical steps. He's working hard to be with her. And then 2 cards came out for the current energies. Look at that, Queen of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. Quite a lot of pentacles going on. I think there's some tentacles moving towards pentacles. All right, I have a propensity to try to make bad puns. That really didn't work, all right? No pentacle jokes from me from here on out. Okay, Queen of Pentacles means that the divine feminine, he sees her as someone who is very practical, grounded, like the ultimate sort of wife material, all right? Now, I'm aware that I'm using the typical gender binary, masculine and feminine, he and her. This really applies to anyone who has feminine energy, regardless of their gender. And when I say divine masculine, I mean the person that carries divine masculine energy. Is going to take some work. I will get there at the end, I hope, of trying not to link the energies to biological gender. But for the moment, just bear with me, okay? So the masculine sees the feminine as partner material. And she is also extremely successful in his view, extremely grounded, extremely sensual, extremely beautiful. The Queen of Pentacles is a sought-after individual in terms of partnerships. She's someone you want to be with. And he's moving towards her, all right? The Knight of Pentacles is slow. He's hella slow. He's the slowest knight out of all of the knights in all of the decks. So the masculine knows he's moving really slowly, but he's bringing her something, and that something is what he's working on right now, okay? This is some kind of offer that he's bringing to her, and he knows that she's part of the same family as him. She's also working on something. She and him will build some kind of empire together. It also helps that the Queen of Wands is here. That means that the Wands is a deck of desire, so he's feeling a lot of lust. I like to see that card there for sure. Okay, but he also sees her not only as like a practical, good spouse type of material, he also sees her as sexy. He sees her as really sexy, and she is. Queen of Wands is extremely passionate, creative, powerful, and independent, and she is extremely attractive because she has a lot of desires and she acts on them. She makes things happen. She's a manifester, all right? She's fertile. Her imagination is wild. She's also intuitive, as you see with the black cat. And, it's a good thing to have these two figures side by side, because initially when the Queen of Pentacles came out, I was happy to see it because I think, he sees the divine masculine sees the feminine as solid and stable and grounded and very, very like a matriarch almost. But it's good that he also sees her as really sexy and attractive, and like the woman that, let me rephrase that. The person that is longed for, lusted after by many people, not just him. So it's good that he sees her that way. Now, okay, and he's making his moves. Now, what is going to be crucial for him to do? This is sort of the advice line for divine masculine. Let's see, did we go out of focus? Looks like we did a little bit. Okay, he's got to deliberate. All right, it's good that he's going slow because he's meant to. All right, for all of those of you divine feminines, sort of, biting your nails and being like, "What's taking so long?" And, kind of imagine that in a Gollum voice for some reason. What's taking so long? No, it doesn't work. He's supposed to go slow. He needs to reach his illumination. See that upside down head? He needs to be upside down and thinking and resting and whatnot, all right? Because if he does that, there's some part of him that's going to die. And it's going to be a good death. See, this is mirrored. Knight of Pentacles, death, both figures on horses in the same direction. So some part of the old him has to go. This old, say, money-making part of him, this kind of money-minded, practical, overly realistic, so realistic that he cannot actually dare to follow his dreams, that kind of person needs to die. And that person's only going to die through deliberation, all right? And that death is a very good thing because that death is going to either follow or precede him following his deepest, innermost wishes. And it's not a stretch to say his innermost wish is you, divine feminine. That's who he wants, and he just has to dare to move towards you and kill off the stories he has in his mind of who he should be, what life he should have, who he should be with, okay? And he's doing that right now, it looks like. But more of that needs to continue. What's the outcome? The outcome is happiness, 10 of Cups. I mean, really, sometimes I feel like whatever I'm channeling is this extremely idealistic leprechaun or source itself. Or some kind of pixie fairy group or something, because I always get such positive cards, especially when I talk about the union. And I'd like to see some of that positivity in action, Source. I know what you're going to say. You make it happen. Of course, I'll make it happen. But, So, at the end of the day, the outcome this month, because remember I asked about this month, is that he is seeing you as the source of his complete happiness. And he is going to get there. And this may mean that he actually achieves that happiness with you. And that he's going to be the King of Swords. He's going to be very truthful. He's going to lay it down on the table. Take it or leave it. Kind of in a slightly unappealing way because it's so frank. It's so kind of blunt, like he doesn't sugarcoat it, he isn't romantic. He's inside feeling very romantic, but perhaps the way that he's going to talk about, because this is a truth card, he's going to come out and say something. And the way he says it may not be that appealing to you because it's going to be kind of cutting. He's like blurts it out in like a blunt, unappealing, slightly unappealing way, but it doesn't really matter because it gets things moving. Chariot, and this is the masculine. He's bringing on. He's coming home. He's riding those lions. He is bringing the castle. He's bringing his power and his glory to you. And he's moving towards you, and he is moving towards complete, fulfilling family life. And partnership. Now, I asked about how he feels about you, and so I'm not sure whether this means he actually achieves that, or by the end of the month, this is how he feels about you. But either way, the feeling has to precede the action, So it's a very good thing that he ends the month with these 3 cards, right? So I asked for clarification. And even the clarifiers were good, people. I don't know what's going on, okay? Maybe Aluna Ash can tell us. You follow her, right? You know, and she's on the money, she's spot on. And so maybe she can tell us why the energies are so good in terms of the outcomes they're predicting. The cards, I mean, are so good. So for this advice line, or what needs to happen, like what are the key things that are going to need to happen for the outcome to happen, is something's going to have to end 100%. Okay? And this is connecting, this is an expansion on the death card. It's just some part of him has to really die. Like 10 swords in there, that person is dead, dead, dead. See that death card? Again, dead. Okay? So maybe it's his lifestyle. Maybe it's a part of his personality. Maybe it's the narratives he has about his own life. But something has to come to an end, a standstill. And he might be a little sad about it because it's kind of shocking, you know. It's almost like a betrayal. It's wounding. But when it's 10 swords, yes, you're feeling pain, but you're in so much pain it almost doesn't matter. It's almost like all of the pain kind of numbs you. It's an extremity of pain. So it may end up feeling like a catastrophe for him, but in a way, the catastrophe releases him and he feels the pain all at once and then doesn't feel it at all because it's all so much, it's a sensory overload. So the period afterwards, he's totally fine. It's almost like he would feel it more if he had 2 swords instead of 10. Because he has 10, he dies and is reborn, okay? It's like all or nothing now. What's also going to need to happen is for the feminine to speak her truth, okay? He speaks his truth as the outcome, but somehow the feminine is going to need to act very decisive and speak her truth. And I think that this is about the feminine going for her dreams. The Ace of Pentacles. For those of you who watched my my previous video, which was about the Virgo new moon, the Ace of Pentacles came out as an outcome. All right, for twin flames. So I think this card is playing a big role. It's coming up in our monthly reading. It's coming up in our twin flame energies reading right now. So there's something about a major offer surrounding the divine feminine that she has to be very clear on and act on, be very decisive on. That is going to, in a way, open up the masculine's journey towards her, okay? It's going to facilitate. So it looks like he's doing all the work he needs to on his end, and he will need to continue to release old ways of living and pushing forward, acting on his innermost wishes. But what will concretely materialize this journey towards her, for him to actually be in contact or for him to perhaps be in the same geographical location, is for her to take on the gift that she is given. Maybe she gets an offer of a job that enables her to move somewhere, and because she moves there, he is able to then start making plans to meet her there. Or maybe she takes on this project, or she starts writing a book, or she gets involved in some kind of volunteer project. It could be anything. And that is the same project that the masculine will then start moving towards becoming a part of, so that this like extremely positive blessing, which is related to money, which is related to work, is going to bring them two together. So I think this is standing in, this represents the mission, the twin flame mission. And my understanding from this reading is divine feminine is going to lead the way in terms of the steps towards actualizing the mission this month. Okay, it's all happening now, people. She is the person that brings not only herself into mission, but shows him the way to it. Oof, that is intense. Now, speaking of cards that repeat, the Virgo new moon reading also showed a conflict card, which I talked about as competition. So, it could be that when this movement of the feminine happens, the masculine might feel a bit competitive, and that's what's kind of motivating him to start making his journey, leaving his comfort zone to move near her. He might be thinking, well, I want to do something like that. I want to do something like that. I don't want to be left behind. So he might start making moves, and it might look like competition initially. Or perhaps what's more likely is that if they are in conversation, which is what is the outcome at the end of the month, as in he's revealing his truth, he's expressing his truth, and this is clarifying that it's in the same position. So, okay, now I've got it, right. So he's expressing his truth, and this is the same position this card comes up. So this is going to lead to some conflict. If he expresses his truth towards the divine feminine, she's going to give him a piece of her mind, all right? I like that, actually. I like that very much. Many of us want to be doing that, don't we? So she's going to give him a piece of her mind. She's going to say, what do you think I am? You know, you can't just, you think I have no backbone? You can't just like drop me and pick me up whenever you want to? And do you have any idea of the consequences of your actions or the effects of your actions? Do you know how much you've annoyed me over the years or months? There's going to be some difficult exchanges as a result of this honesty, okay, that maybe he hadn't anticipated. What's the net result, though? Oh my gosh, the net result is total balance. All right, so there's not going to be a power inequality in the power dynamic anymore. There's going to be masculine and feminine restored as complete equals. These two cups have the same amount of water in them. And temperance is a particularly important card for twin flames because radical balance is what the twin flame mission is about. It's what it's connected to. So twin flame mission, radical balance appears. When these two entities are in balance, that's when they're able to work on their combined soul mission. And having this exchange out in the open enables them to get to that point. They are able to talk through their differences, explain where each other are, and that leads to a good amount of nostalgia about the sweetness of their love, okay? This also came up in the Virgo new moon reading. Lot of resonance between the two readings. I highly recommend watching the previous one. Okay, so balance will lead to sweet remembrance, okay? It might also lead, this is a somewhat unusual placement, but let's look at the placement of it. That's key, actually. So this is a card of insecurity, Five of Pentacles, where people are feeling insecure. They're not aware of how valuable they are. They're looking at what they don't have instead of what they have. And this is in the placement of the Chariot. So it looks like the outcome at the end of the month, there's going to be movement happening in terms of the relationship. Maybe talks will progress really fast. It's going to feel like things are moving really quickly. And it might also be physical movement of one or two of the twins to new locations. And this particular movement is going to cause some insecurity for the twins. This is particularly about how masculine feels about the feminine, right? So this is going to cause the masculine to feel a little bit insecure. He's not lost anything. It's not like these don't exist. They exist. He just can't see it. So he's going to feel like maybe he is jeopardizing himself or his position by making the moves that he just made because it's going extremely fast. Okay, that's pretty natural to feel that way. So I needed more clarification, so I pulled 4 more cards, and they are ridiculously good. Outcome. King of Pentacles. Who is married to the Queen of Pentacles? Who dat? Okay? So outcome, he sees Divine Feminine as the Queen of Pentacles. By the end of the month, he's the King of Pentacles. How cool is that? He is becoming the man that is the counterpart to his dream woman. You know, again, actual gender doesn't matter. He embodies the energy that is the counterpart to the feminine energy. And guess what? You have the Lovers, the twin flame cards. This is happening, people. All right? I'm kind of astounded. It's like, this is really happening according to the cards. And if it doesn't, I will be the first one to actually talk about this reading. And I know we're not supposed to attach too much to the actual timing of all of this, because a lot of the timing depends on the individual and each twin's evolution and their particular energies. So that cannot be fixed because it changes minute to minute, hour to hour, day to day. All we can offer here is a general prediction within a general time scale. But it may mean the end of September, it may mean the early October for some twins, it might be mid-October for some twins. But what we're getting here is a trajectory which ends with the Lovers, which ends with King of Pentacles meeting the Queen of Pentacles. So I don't care how long it takes us, or takes you, but it's saying that you are going to, Divine Masculine is going to meet the Divine Feminine as her counterpart in the Divine Twin Flame Union. So at some point or another of the next few months, weigh in and say if this happened for you or not. Because the last two cards is Divine Masculine getting everything he wants. 10 of Pentacles. Like literally everything he wants. The house, the partner, the kids, the pets, the material wealth, the stability, the security. And not only that, just in case you were confused and you didn't know whether getting everything materially was enough, the Four of Wands comes up, which is another twin flame card. It's compounded, which indicates marriage and harmony, domestic harmony. One card fell out, and that was the Wheel of Fortune. It's like this is fated, all right? That's the message, it's fated. It's going to happen. It's just, you don't know the exact time frame, but it's going to happen. And the underlying energy was Three of Wands, with the masculine looking out, trying to make something happen. He is surveying the landscape. This is a moment, September is the month when he is looking outside the small bubble that he has been in and trying to make things happen. All right? This is an incredible reading. I honestly don't think that I've done a reading that's this positive. So this is a lot to process and may or may not turn out this way for many of us at the end of this month, but it doesn't matter. I think what we need to take away from this is not the outcome, is not the trajectory, is not the time frame, but the fact that Source is speaking to us directly, the twin flames. And Source is trying to show us that it is with us, that union is something that is part of the plan for us, and it's trying to communicate that to us. It'll be up to us whether or not we can manifest that union, whether or not we are ready for it, but this is not something accidental. This is something that is part of our, I hate to use this big word, but it's part of our destiny. All right. Good night, Twin Flames.